Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be discussing about the RPI system. So first of all, we need to understand as to why we need an RPI system. So whenever you have a Kennedy class 1 or 2 situation, so whenever you have a Kennedy, whenever we have a Kennedy class 1 or 2 situation, so if we give C clasp or I bar at the distal occlusal rest, it leads to the tipping of teeth, so posteriorly. So basically this is harmful. This generates harmful forces and it leads to teeth mobility and bone loss. So now this force is comparable to fitted wrench, like that much of force if you give distal rest. Now what happened was the person Kratochvil, he came up with I-bar clasp. So he said basically using a mesial rest will help to decrease the harmful forces. Okay, so RPI system is given by Kroll in 1973, which utilizes a modified I-bar system. So the main ideology is stress control with minimal tooth and gingival preparation. Okay, now let's understand the parts of an I-bar RPI system. So first of all, you have to you can see that this particular thing is a proximal plate. So this is a proximal plate. Now this proximal plate, basically it lies on full length of proximal surface, marginal ridge to the tooth and tissue junction onto 2 mm of attached gingiva. Now usually we prefer longer proximal plate. Function is retention and stability. Disadvantages are extensive tooth preparation, force is more in horizontal direction. Okay, now let's come to the second part, which is our I-bar clasp. So this is our I-bar clasp. Now I-bar clasp, it is given on the mid-facial part of gingival third. Then cross section they sometimes ask is half round. Now preferable undercut is 0.010 inches of undercut. Then there is less torque on abutment because of I-bar clasp. Now the disadvantage is that it has less retention. Now over here the Kroll's modification was, he suggested that we make it pod shaped and we place it more mesially to allow more reciprocation. Now let's understand the mesio-occlusal rest. So this is third, we'll discuss it here. So third is mesial rest. So in this basically it goes from marginal and triangular ridge in molars up to central fossa. In anteriors it goes to cingulum rest, we give cingulum rest. Then in mandibular anteriors we give incisal rest. Now the thing is that it should have a rounded outline and it should basically allow a ball and socket movement. its function is support. Now here also Grohl had a modification in which he said ki, we can only extend it up to triangular fossa so that there is a decreased tooth preparation. Okay. Now in this proximal plate also he had a modification in which he said, Grohl's modification, he said that we need to eliminate impingement on free gingival margin, and we need to gingival embrasure is opened for a better gingival health. Okay, so basically what he said was that we will extend the proximal plate to the entire length of proximal surface, and basically we will extend guiding plane and proximal plate from marginal ridge to junction of gingival third and middle third. So in this way we'll have a healthy abutment. Okay, and he also suggested that the proximal guiding plane is only like 2 to 3 mm contact, and just only 1 mm of gingival tissue should be impinged. And then he also suggested the 0.010 undercut. So now basically why RPI system is advantageous, so we'll discuss it here. Advantages of RPI system. So basically it functions to convert a class 1 liver into a class 2 liver. This is harmful class 1. Okay, now it also provides firm resistance to distal displacement of abutment. It eliminates pump handle effect on base, that is, it directs force more centrally. Then third is it provides adequate reciprocation, 180-degree encirclement, aesthetic, minimum tissue contact. Now contraindications: when there is insufficient vestibular depth for I-bar clasp and tissue undercut below abutment teeth. Then came something as RPA system, so we'll discuss that too. So RPA system, which was given by Ellison in 1983. So basically this is a hybrid between RPI and circumferential clasp. So in this the mesial rest is given, the retentive arm of Acker's clasp or circumferential clasp, it originates from proximal plate and is made of cast or wrought wire. This is used in distal extension cases where bar clasp is contraindicated, and indication is basically class 1 and 2. So this completes the RPI and RPA system. If you found this video helpful, do give it a like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.